election campaign in November 1972. So this has become a big issue and also the most criticized body. But humanly speaking, due to human weaknesses, this has not been able to pull many supports in the initial stage. But then, by God's grace, in 2002, it has took off. And this clean election movement has been gaining more support and gaining momentum day by day. And with the support of the church leaders and individual responsible individuals and believers, by God's grace, it's penetrating to every household and every individual, realizing, coming to their senses that this is wrong. This is morally and spiritually wrong. Which is why today we are again gathering here to speak on this and to do what we can do to impact our society and change and transform the evil or the malpractices that are very much prevalent in our society today.
Adult franchise is a right to vote for all citizens of the Indian Union who have attained 18 years of age, irrespective of religion, race, caste, or sex, in order to elect their leaders or representatives to Parliament or State Assembly. Voting right for the citizen is a right to elect the right person to be your representative. This is the beauty of democracy in this great country. However, looking at the system of election we have developed, in our state, it is a matter of great concern and worry due to the open, rampant misuse of election voting practices by our people, our leaders, and their agents. It is a matter of shame and polluting the sacred right of the citizens in exercising their adult franchise. Misuse or abuse of the system of election and voting is a punishable offense and a crime against the society. Yet, we just allow the politicians and the agents to abuse it openly without opposition from any party. This is wrong for the country and more so for our state in Nagaland, which is popularly called as a Christian state. As citizens of the Indian Union, election will be held every 5 years, both for the Parliament as well as for the State Assembly. Nagaland, we are going to have our general election very soon in the early part of 2023. Therefore, I feel that this is the right time for the church to educate its members, to practice and exercise its voting right with responsibility in order to elect the right persons as our representatives and leaders.
Yes, it is written, it is a known fact that elections in Nagaland are becoming very ludicrous and violent because of money power, muscle power, and proxy voting. As mentioned by our Sir Viprami, a Christian-dominated state practicing one of the most corrupted forms of electioneering system is sacrilegious to Christian ethos and principles. Now, when we talk about clean election, clean election has become a mockery of God and Christianity. Is what one of our senior elders said, Sir Pelofele said the other day. And I think it is very true. We are allowing Hindu securities to secure the Christian polling booths, and that's the paradox that we are living in. So it is a mockery. And when we talk about slogans like free and fair elections, one man, one vote, all these are a slur on democracy. Now, we as Christians have failed miserably in our own Christian witness, in political square, in political arena, or in our public square. I remember once, late Reverend Deovi Henyo, he challenged community of theologians saying and asking, where is your political theology? And he meant asking about our political assignment to the public square. And this kept ringing in my mind for a very, very long time, as I was a theological student those days. And so perhaps we must be equally responsible for the mess we have created, as we have failed to apply our political theology aptly or contextually, even so to say. The way we have abused our voting rights, the way we are having double names, protecting the village electoral rolls, refusing to strike off the names of the dead, etc., are unthinkable. And moreover, the way we demonize each other during the time of elections. We demonize the other group, the other party. As Christians, we have painted our view of politics very differently. And so for this reason, even those who contest in the elections with good motives are questionable. And those who campaign for politics, their motive and vision of bringing change and development in our state is questionable. It is therefore pertinent to address this issue rightly in our family circles, churches, institutions, and everywhere possible. Clean election kotha kashe koredo mamudu boy kuda gaure so clean election to jane kashe in Nagaland. So something very common right below our nose, but then we are not able to practice. It's to that extent. So this is a church-based gathering. I would like to focus my presentation on how the church can be a witness in politics. Nagaland is the highest Baptist populated state in the world. Having said that, Nagaland Legislative Assembly is also dominated by the Baptist MLAs. Out of 60, we have almost 58 MLAs. There are, roughly I have understood that there are only 2 non-Baptist MLAs. I could also be wrong. But if that is the case, the Baptist population is also there in the MLA, among the MLAs. So by simple reasoning, we can understand and we can agree that there is something wrong with our Baptist political theology. And most of all, as pastors and leaders of different churches present here, we can argue that our preaching, our teaching, and our discipling model is somewhat falling short. I'm not blaming the pastors here, but maybe we need to think further that we are lacking somewhere else. So I would like to talk about the relationship between the church and the state. It is always good to know in which position that we will have to walk in before we walk into any crisis. It is always good to know our role as we attend this meeting you know that you know your role, that you are going to be a participant in this meeting. Likewise, even the relationship between the church and the state is elusive, and there are many people who argue differently. So the relationship between the church and the state is elusive, and it could be grossly misinterpreted. That's why I want to firstly present the relationship between the church and the state. From that also from a Baptist point of view. Theologically, there are three views regarding the Christian involvement in politics. And as I've mentioned here, I don't know whether you have in your paper or not, I think you don't have. But then there are three views. First is the Christian prince, second is the Christian advocate, and third is the Christian witness. So the first view holds that there are some people who have special vocation or calling to the political office, which is to say that the exercise of state power through the authority of the government is ordained by God. They equate the work of a governor or the prince, who is similar to a priestly vocation. So, because they argue that because by birth the Christian prince exercises power and authority at God's command. This was the position of the Church of England back then, those days, when the English separatist movement moved out of the Church of England. Firstly, the Church of England moved out from the fold of the Roman Catholic Church, but the English separatist movement realized that the Church of England was also no different to the Roman Catholic Church. That is why the English separatist movement came out, the Anabaptists, the Mennonites, and all this Protestant group came out. And that's how the Baptists also formulated their own movement. And so here, this was the position of the Church of England, the king and the queen having direct dictate over the church. So that's the position of the Christian prince. The second is the Christian advocate. This view holds that there are certain political and social causes that we Christians need to advocate. It conceives Christians' engagement as advocacy. And so it conceives Christian engagement as advocacy in the public forum. It aims for success, change, and results are very much concerned for them. Anything that does not bring change is a failure for this group. And I personally would like to be on this view, a Christian advocate. But then, as a church, as a representative of the church, I would like to adopt the third one, the third view, which is the Christian witness. This view, the Christian witness view, see Christian politics, Christians involving in politics as a witness, as a martyr. So this concept is taken from the word martyr, bearing witness to political areas. So a martyr is to be persecuted, a martyr is to be condemned, a martyr is to be criticized, and that is what exactly is happening to clean election movement in Nagaland, to suffer and even give our life for the gospel, even though many are not positive about it. So I think I am a martyr in a way, and we all are. As Christians, the church becomes the soft target for criticism, especially in this time.